Matt Stafford has the Rams one win away from the Super Bowl, but has he already proven the doubters wrong this postseason? Aaron Rodgers says all options are on the table regarding his future. Are we buying that he might actually retire? And LeBron getting it done and done well. Both sides of the floor last night. Does a healthy big three make the Lakers the team to beat again? And with that, we say good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolfe, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, Kevin Wildes. You were at the game last night, Nick Wright. How's our buddy LeBron doing?
You know what, Jenna, I'm not telling you that. I'll wait for that. I'm going to tell you this. I was sitting next to Adam Silver. You know what I was really upset about? Adam Silver. No idea who I was, which leads me to believe Broussard and Wildes not doing their job on getting me a vote. Like, you guys meet with Adam Silver, you're supposed to be getting me a vote. He literally had no idea who I was. So thanks for that,
I
teammates.
bet you by the end of the night he did.
Oh, that's true.
We'll
you know what, Jenna? That is true.
Adam.
He knows him
Restraining
now.
order
And their
on
relationship. After we get to the big news out of the NFL yesterday, after 15 seasons as head coach of the Saints, Sean Payton is walking away. Says he isn't retiring, just taking some time for himself, but he does so as the winningest head coach in franchise history, leading New Orleans to the first and only Super Bowl win back in 2009. The 58-year-old talked about life after football in an emotional 90-minute press conference yesterday. Take a listen.
I don't like the word retirement. Mr. B didn't like it either. He always said, retirement's overrated. We get sold this whole image of retirement by these investment groups on TV and golf courses and retirement. I still have a vision for doing things in football. And I'll be honest with you, that might be coaching again at some point. I don't think it's this year. I think maybe in the future, but that's not where my heart is right now.
So you heard it. Payton left the door open to returning to coaching, and USA Today's Mike Freeman thinks that door might swing the Cowboys' way. Payton's contract runs through 2024. So if the Cowboys or any other team wants to hire Payton before then, they would have to do so by facilitating a trade with the New Orleans Saints. Nick, I'll start with you. What do you make of this speculation after Sean Payton stepped down?
Oh, I think the speculation should turn into reality. That's what I think. And listen, he said that's not where his heart is right now. I'm very curious how far Sean Payton's heart is from Sean Payton's pocket, because I think if the pocket gets fat enough, the heart can change what it's thinking. Here's the deal, Broussard. Who are the four best players on the Dallas Cowboys? Dak Prescott's one of them. The next three, I would argue, are in some order or another: Micah Parsons, Diggs, and CeeDee Lamb. Those three guys are basically free right now and next season. They're all on rookie contracts. They're not going to have extensions that kick in next season. Your window is now. Your window is right now, this moment. It doesn't mean it's closing, but it does mean it is open this moment. You don't know how long it's going to stay open. If Mike McCarthy's your head coach, you just run it back. You're not upgrading. You're not updating. You got to deal with Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur. You need to find a way to make your team tangibly better than it was this year. You're not going to do it via player acquisition, via the draft, via trade, via free agency. This is your one way. So if I'm Jerry Jones, I get on the phone and I say, listen, is there a number? If there is a number, what's the number? There's no salary cap on coaching, man. So I think that the Cowboys absolutely unequivocally, Broussard, should do everything they can to sway Sean Payton's heart, to try to take advantage of this window, this moment, this second.
And look, Nick, we know Jerry Jones is close with Sean Payton, right? Payton was there in the early 2000s as a QB coach under Bill Parcells, and their relationship has grown since then. I do believe Jerry Jones, I don't want to say there has been tampering, but I believe he caught wind that Sean Payton might do this or would do this. And that's why he's been hesitant to say that Mike McCarthy is definitely coming back. I'm with you. I said it yesterday. I'm bringing McCarthy back if I can't get Sean Payton. So I do believe they should pull out all the stops. I won't say all the stops. They should pull out a lot of the stops to go get Sean Payton. Money, no object. Well, here's what I mean. Here's what I mean by a lot of them. I'm with you. Payton, make him the highest paid coach in the league. That's fine. Here's where the stops stop. Okay? If you go back 20 years, remember when Tampa Bay traded with Oakland for John Gruden, they had to give up 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and $8 million. I'm not giving all that up for Sean Payton. As much as I like him, as much as he's an offensive genius, as much as I think he'd help Dak Prescott, you can't mortgage the future. Because I thought, Nick, when you said who are their best players, you might mention one of the linemen, a Zach Martin, a Tyron Smith. They're 31 years old. At some point, I'm going to have to start building up that offensive line again, really as soon as possible. I'm willing to give up a first-round pick this year and a later third, second maybe pick in the future. But that's about it, and some cash. But I can't go too far to try to get Sean Payton. I'll make him the highest paid coach in the league. But I wouldn't do all that to get him. That said, Nick, I'm with you in that Wilds, they need to go all out now. Now, the thinking, and I mentioned this yesterday, is that Payton will sit out a year, maybe broadcast or whatever, recharge the batteries. And let Mike McCarthy coach him next year, see what you do. If you don't get to the Super Bowl, get rid of McCarthy and go get Sean Payton. All right, now, the thing is, if I could do it now, let's go get him now. He didn't close the door. He said, I don't think that's next year. Yep, he threw in think. Right. He knows himself. He could easily say, not next year. I need to chill. I need to relax and be with my family, whatever. He didn't say that. He said, I don't think next year. So I'm with Nick Wilds. Go after him full bore to a degree this year.
Yeah. Okay. But Broussard, wouldn't it leave a sour taste in your mouth if Jerry Jones fired McCarthy right now and hired Sean Payton tomorrow? That this all played out like Nick is saying. For me, if Jerry Jones had this as an idea in the back of his mind, he should have fired McCarthy as soon as they were eliminated from the playoffs. I think that coaching fraternity is too strong, and Sean Payton doesn't want to look like he's going out and stealing another guy's job. If that did happen, wouldn't that leave a sour taste in your mouth? No, not at all. I mean, I get it. We want Nick to be wrong, but no, it wouldn't leave a sour taste in my mouth at all. And here's the thing, Wilds, the coaching business is cutthroat. You're right. There's a fraternity, and guys, respect one another. I'm with you on that. However, if I'm Jerry Jones, I have no problem in my mind thinking McCarthy's my guy if I can't get Sean Payton. And if McCarthy can't handle it, so be it. But I think that's how it is, Nick. And look, here's something else you can do. I don't really need Kellen Moore if I've got Sean Payton. So maybe you can,
that's correct.
I don't know, send Kellen Moore to New Orleans. He could be New Orleans head coach. They're going to be rebuilding. Trade. They're going to go young.
That's fascinating.
Something like that. Throw that in there. Maybe I don't have to give up all the draft picks.
$8 million, a first and a fifth, and we'll throw in Kellen Moore if you demand it. I do think, Wilds, correct me if I'm wrong, when you said it'll leave a sour taste in your mouth, you didn't mean us on this show. You meant a sour taste in your mouth as far as the feeling of this guy went out there and stole somebody's job. Like, that's what you were talking about, that it would look bad for Sean
a little
Payton,
bit on this show.
that he would go out there and steal somebody's job. Here's the thing.
I just don't think
we can't have you being right too many times, Nick.
Yeah, well, that's just an added bonus, a little icing on the cake. So here's the thing. I don't think that it would look as bad as it would. There are instances out there where a guy's job is totally secure. And then it looks like, wait, somebody wants that guy's job? So, for example, when we were talking about the quarterback carousel last offseason, and the Raiders kept being included. And it was like, man, nobody's talking about Derek Carr being on the hot seat. And all of a sudden you have guys saying, I would go quarterback the Raiders. That, to me, is, the quarterback version instead of the coach version of where it's like, that's kind of poor form. Mike McCarthy was this close to being fired, even if Sean Payton signed an extension. So I don't look at it as somebody who otherwise is totally safe and now someone swoops in and takes their job. I look at it as somebody who the owner is deciding on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour basis, can he be my guy? And this might tip the scales in that direction. So I don't think it's as poor a form as if Sean Payton all of a sudden gets hired as the Bills head coach, and Sean McDermott's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, it's not that situation. It's a situation where somebody's already, 13 seconds. Wilds wants, by the way, for the record, America, maybe we'll do it later in the show. Wilds absolutely believes the biggest clock mismanagement of these playoffs was not done by the Cowboys. It was done by the Bills. He might fire if he didn't have, if Wilds didn't have that sign 100%. That says be kind, he would be firing Sean McDermott. I want you to know the only reason that fired Sean McDermott, he's looking at that sign that says be kind,
McDermott,
so he's not doing it.
Do it.
You're right, by the way, Wilds.
Exactly right, Jenna.
All right, let's talk about Nick's plans last night. He was at the Lakers-Nets game in attendance at Barclays to see AD's return and to see LeBron dominate. Are the Lakers the team to beat with a now healthy Big Three? Asked and answered. We'll toss that around next. This is First Things First on a Wednesday morning. Sunday, the NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax Live is on Fox with a clash between division rivals Jimmy G. Garoppolo and the 49ers take on Matthew S. Matthew Stafford and the Rams for a trip to Super Bowl 56. That
was funny.
Just making up names. It all kicks off at 6 Eastern.
No, that took a minute, but that was
Pacific.
Good. Jimmy G, Matthew S.
Thank you. Only on Fox, on the Fox Sports app. I am so good at reading teases and promos. Lakers, Nets, Nick in the building for this one. Okay. Lakers clearly felt his presence. Knicks got that kind of effect. Anthony Davis back in the lineup after missing 17 games. Started at center, played 25 minutes, finished with 8 points. Not a career high. LeBron, meanwhile, 33 points. And the game's big highlight, consecutive steals and dunks in the fourth quarter. He's so good at the basketball. Lakers win 106-96. They get back to 500 on the season. Did not think I'd be saying that sentence. Broussard, the fact that they were under 500. Are the Lakers back on track with a healthy Big Three?
Well, Jenna, let it be known, and you guys can attest to this. Through all the Lakers' struggles, I have never given up on or thrown out the puncher's chance card. All right, I've always said, if AD is healthy, they got a puncher's chance. No matter how bad it looks, get in the playoffs, preferably don't meet Golden State or Phoenix in the first round, puncher's chance. Now, I'm not ready to say they're all the way back because they beat up on James Harden and the Nets ball boys. However, this is a step in the right direction and they can get it going, right? All right, and here's the key. LeBron is playing phenomenal basketball. We know that. The key is Anthony Davis, as probably has always been the key. And Nick, I'm not even looking for AD to play at the top of his game. I've given up hope of that for the time being. Just get near AD, near the top of your game. All right, if he does that, you've got two of the top 10 players in the league. One can dominate inside, the other can dominate the perimeter. That's good enough to contend in a Western Conference that's kind of open. All right, and so AD, that's the key. I want him inside. Last night he had 4 blocks, 3 of them in his first 6 minutes of play. He can dominate the paint. He's shooting 17% from 3. AD his shooting in mid-range is down. AD can do it inside. So I want him in the perimeter, in the interior, dominating the inside, offensively and defensively. Wilds. The last thing I'll say quickly, I think Russ has been humbled. Russ has been humbled enough, and he himself understands, look, the only way I'm going to make this thing work, the only way I'm going to get credit, the only way I'm going to look good is if we win. Nobody's looking at my stats. It's not about getting a triple-double. We got to win. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm saying, look, Russ, give us your energy, your hustle. You're going to get us 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 or 7 assists just off your hustle. Be more engaged defensively, concentrate more. Let LeBron be the decision maker, the playmaker, and you play off him and AD. And this could work, Wilds.
Yeah. Also, don't terribly airball a three and make us all go, ugh, Russ, don't take those anymore. But you had a great point about the Lakers defense. I saw this game, Nick. I said, ooh, I'm going to log on, put a little money on the Lakers championship odds. Like Broussard said, puncher's chance. When I looked at it, I said, woo, they are vastly underrated. Don't get me wrong. I like my Jazz. But if the Lakers are playing like they played last night.
And your Magic.
I like this a lot. And Broussard touched on it. To me, Nick, it's all about the defense. I don't need Anthony Davis shooting any more threes. He had 4 blocks last night, had some out there on the three-point line. And here's the interesting stat. The Lakers are the 5th worst team at defending the paint. Only 4 teams are worse. One of them, Sacramento Kings, who lost by 53 points last night. The Rockets, only team worse than them is the Magic, who are feisty. Don't get me wrong. The Magic are feisty. The Spurs and the Clippers, who are actually okay. If they can just defend the paint, like Frank Vogel's teams have always done, they have a chance. They're vastly overrated. I love AD coming back for his defense now.
Underrated. So, vastly underrated is what
exact opposite.
Just by the way, America. Yeah, no, we got you, buddy. The other thing we got and the viewers should get is, before I give the Lakers point, please tune in at least on a weekly basis over the next, I don't know, call it 36 weeks to watch Wilds continue to fall down this gambling rabbit hole.
Why? That's a good
By the
bet.
way, New York State legalized gambling. And Wilds is immediately sending me single game parlays. And then he's like, I logged on and I saw these championship odds. Guys, by next football season, Nick's picks is going to be just pushed out of the show by Wilds gambling with his tie even more askew than normal. Yeah, please tell me, Wilds, tell me, and then I'll give my take. Please.
I was like, the Sacramento was down by like 40. I'm like, they're not going to lose by 40. I took Sacramento in the points and lost.
See, that's what I'm saying.
They lose by
He's
50
live
points.
betting Kings games. He's live betting Kings games. Billy and Russie, Wild's amazing
Keep
kids.
going.
Listen, don't worry. Uncle Nick will help you out when Daddy's got to go somewhere to get it cleaned up. But in the meantime, it'll be a fun journey. All right, on this, Wilds talk defense. Broussard talked to Anthony Davis. I'm going to shock America here. I'm going to talk about LeBron James. Because I think it is underplayed and underrated what he's doing right now. So here's a fun fact. Do you know there is a Laker that currently is having one of the 5 best scoring seasons ever for a player in year 19 or later? That Laker is Carmelo Anthony. The only players in year 19 to average more points than Carmelo Anthony is averaging this year are Kobe, Dirk, Kareem, and that guy. Why do I make that point? Because that guy is going to win the scoring title in year 19. It's damn near unprecedented for someone to average 15 points a game in year 19. And Broussard, you said the other day, or you've said a few times, listen, LeBron's playing great, but he's not controlling the game the way he once was. And to a degree, I've agreed with you that it's not total hand on the joystick, over my dead body on a nightly basis, we're not losing.
Right.
With that said, there was a very interesting moment last night, and I should have told our guys to grab the clip of it. Right before he had the back-to-back steals and dunks, he almost had a steal in the exact same spot. Missed it, and the Nets hit a 3. And he was furious, and he looked over to the sideline and seemed to say something to Maverick Carter and Michael Strahan, who were sitting next to each other. It happened right in front of them. And the very next play, 2 plays, he had back-to-back steals and dunks from the exact same spot on the court. It felt like it was his ability to be like, I'm getting it back, and then got an extra one. When you look at the Western Conference, who are the guys in the NBA right now, Broussard, that are playing at an over-my-dead-body level? Giannis is. Embiid is.
Right.
Durant, when he's healthy, is. They're all out east. So why do and I don't think the Lakers have big three. I think they have a big two. I think it's LeBron and AD. Why do I think the Lakers have more than a puncher's chance? Because in a playoff series, there is no one in the West that can do what LeBron can do. Still, in year 19. Listen, Steph had a great first 6 weeks of the season. Steph's been, by his standards, bad for a month now.
No doubt.
Devin Booker and Chris Paul that's a great team. There is no one on that team that can do over my dead body. I understand Jokic has the highest VORP and BPM adjusted in NBA history. He's never been able to be over my dead body guy. LeBron still can. And that should scare the rest of the league if AD can stay healthy.
Well, here's the thing. Look, LeBron, as you said, it is playing tremendously. You mentioned only two guys that are playing better are Giannis and Embiid. And they get it done on the other end. That's the difference. And I do think LeBron can do that in spurts, Nick. But I don't know what made him better, even if his stats look as good as they were 9 years ago. What made him better back then was that he could dominate defensively as well. All right, just like on the offensive end. Now he can do it here and there. I saw toward, I think it was the end of the first quarter, he went on James Harden. Now, Harden went right by him, but I'm just saying he took the challenge up, right? But he's not going to be able to do that like a whole fourth quarter. Give me Ja. All right, and that's the difference.
That's right.
That's why they need AD to be near the top of his game. Because on both ends of the floor, because as good as AD can be, he's not going to make them younger. He's not going to stop their inability to keep guys from driving past them to the paint, but he can protect the paint, and that's why they need him. So taking nothing away from LeBron, I'm just saying he's not as good as he was at 32. That's all.
Sure.
Neither am I, Broussard. Neither am I. Lakers back in action tomorrow night in Philadelphia as our road trip continues. All right, let's shift our focus to Matthew Stafford now. Talk some football. Get ready for a big weekend. Has Stafford already proved his doubters wrong in these playoffs? We've got doubters on the panel. We'll talk about that next. First things first. All right, here we go. Let's talk some Matthew Stafford now. His Rams getting ready to host their NFC West rival San Francisco 49ers Sunday in the NFC title game. And for Stafford, whose career clearly got a shot in the arm after all those losing years in Detroit, yet another chance to prove his postseason chops after those late game heroics to beat the Bucs in the divisional round. The Washington Post had this headline yesterday. After years of big numbers and crushing losses, Matthew Stafford finds vindication with the Rams. It was a long headline, took like 3 lines. Chris Broussard, do you agree? Has Matthew Stafford silenced the doubters with 2 playoff wins this year?
Jenna, I do agree. He has silenced the doubters, one of whom was me. I was a doubter. I wasn't down on Stafford, but I wanted to see him prove it. All right, and I can no longer say he can't get it done in big games. We saw what he did when he went out and played against the GOAT, Tom Brady, 350-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, a rushing TD, and the late rally with 42 seconds left to get that game-winning field goal. So you can't say he's a stat padder anymore. And if he continues, Nick, to play like this, let's say for the next 4 or 5 years, he just continues to play like this, the Rams will remain a contender. And they're right there in the conversation for the next 4 or 5 years and don't win a Super Bowl. He still probably is a Hall of Famer. He's already 12th all time in passing. Hold on.
You gotta
listen. He's already 12th all time in passing yards and touchdowns. If he gives you 5 years of my team is right there, just on the cusp, we couldn't get over the hump, and his numbers are through the roof, probably HOF. But there's the point of what I'm trying to make. All that said, all those jewels I just dropped, this is the main point. He has not yet justified the trade. As much as he silenced the doubters, he's not yet.
Everywhere.
Here's the thing, because here's why. Jared Goff, who they gave, it wasn't just Goff for Stafford. It was Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a third for Stafford.
No.
Jerry Goff got you to the Super Bowl. Jerry Goff could consistently get you to the play. Oh, you made it, Nick. We all remember it's historical fact. All right. Jerry Goff could keep you in the playoffs. What Jared Goff couldn't do is win a Super Bowl. So Matt Stafford has 2 to 3 years to win the Super Bowl for the Rams. If he wins a Super Bowl, then he justifies the trade. That's it. Getting there does not justify the trade. I've been there with Goff.
Brew. This is Brew. You know how much I love you as a colleague,
I don't even know what the controversy
as a friend, as everything. I honestly believe, Wilds, Chris Broussard might have just set the record for sports television for the most wrong in one opening salvo. I really think Brew was wrong about everything he said. All right, I can't even walk down the path of Matt Stafford never wins the Super Bowl, but is still a Hall of Famer, plays well enough. I can't even go down that path. On that path is Phillip Rivers. He's waving. He's like, hey, guys, am I in the Hall of Fame now, too? I think our friend Boomer Esiason is like, hey, I made a Super Bowl. Can I be in the Hall of Fame? I can't go down that path. So I just have to respond to all of this. I'm flustered. I never get flustered on television. I'm a little flustered by everything I just heard from Brew. Of course he's justified the trade. I want people to understand because they traded 1 first-round pick for him. Now, Brew, I know what you're going to say. No, they didn't. They traded multiple. No, they traded. This was the deal they made. We will give you 1 first-round pick for Matt Stafford. We will also give you a first and a third to take Jared Goff and his contract off our hands. Look at them as separate transactions. One was to get rid of Goff. The other was to get Stafford. Yes, because Goff's contract was an albatross and Goff was terrible. So I disagree with everything Broussard said. To answer the question, Wilds, I think he has sort of. I think he has confirmed he is not, as your buddy Wilds, Bill Simmons, he coined this phrase, and I think it's a great one, good stats, bad team guy. I don't think he is that. He's more than that. He's not good stats, bad team guy. He can make big plays in big moments. We saw him make, everyone focuses on the second pass to Kupp, the first pass to Kupp to set up the second pass. When right after he basically almost fumbled the game away, in a game where everyone was fumbling, to have the courage of his convictions to make those 2 throws, that's big-time, big boy football moments. With that said, it's kind of a weird bag with him this year. He had the highest passer rating he's ever had in a full season. He also, for the first time in his career, led the NFL in interceptions. So he's played clean football through these 2 playoff games. But right before these 2 playoff games, he threw 8 interceptions in his final 4 weeks. The reason the Niners are here is because he was throwing picks in Week 18 to let them into the playoffs in a game that they thought, in a game that they thought was to win the division. And the Cardinals ended up losing, so they won the division anyway. So I am not ready to say Matt Stafford, he's one of the 3 best quarterbacks in football. I don't believe that to be true. But I am ready to say the idea that he was empty calories guy, he's more than that. But if I'm a Rams fan, I'm a little nervous, Wilds. Agreed, Jenna. I'm a little nervous.
Of what?
That he hasn't thrown a pick yet. Because his history this season tells you he's going to make the big mistake at some point. Maybe he'll continue to play clean football, but he hasn't all year. So that's my concern.
Okay, my concern is clearing our schedule to get to Canton, Ohio for the induction of Matthew Stafford. Welcome, everyone. We are here to induct Matthew Stafford. He has a career record of 86, 95, and 1, just under 500, but almost got there. We unveil the bust, and it'll be great. Here's the other weird thing. So I didn't mean to make fun of you there, Broussard, but, shout out to Ohio.
No, just watch. Just watch.
As you know, I pray to the quarterback wins God. Do you think that Matthew Stafford, if he's able to win the Super Bowl, becomes the patron saint of, you know what, it wasn't me, it was my team. Because everyone talks about, I'm going to take it outside of Matthew Stafford, everyone talks about Odell. Look at Odell thriving. Wow, look at Odell crushing it. It was all Baker's fault. Well, what if Matthew Stafford wins the Super Bowl? Baker could just raise his hand and be like, are you sure I'm also not a victim of this like Cleveland Browns culture? I just saw Matthew Stafford lose a bunch of games in Detroit and win the Super Bowl. Do you think that if Matthew Stafford wins, Broussard, that a lot of other quarterbacks who we view as like, they should do more with their team, all of a sudden can have the same case Odell has?
Well, all the quarterbacks don't put up the numbers Stafford had. You can laugh at me all you want. Like I said, top 12 yards and pass TDs. However, I do think, just like when Tom Brady won it with Tampa Bay, that a light went off in Russell Wilson's head, a light went off in Aaron Rodgers' head, and if Stafford does win it, you're right, a light will go off in some of these other quarterbacks' heads. So, yeah, I do think that could happen. And I got to say this, Nick, though. How in the world does Matthew Stafford justify the trade if he doesn't get you as far as the guy you traded him for? Oh, I get it. He's a prettier passer than Jared Goff. The numbers look better. They're more exciting, fun to watch, all of that. But it's all about winning. And if he doesn't get you a Super Bowl win, and I had to give up 2 first-rounders and a third to get to the same place.
Stop.
I mean, seriously.
Guys,
seriously.
There is nuance. There is nuance involved. Jared Goff is bad.
There's nuance.
Matt Stafford is good. That justifies it. I don't care that Jared Goff once upon a time played in the Super Bowl. He's bad. Stafford's good. That's what
he made
justifies
2 Pro Bowls
the trade
with the Rams. He made 2 Pro Bowls.
And then he couldn't.
Fine.
Maybe
you
once
talking
upon
about
a time,
him like he's a scrub.
He wasn't that bad. He is. He's bad.
Right.
Did you watch the Lions this year? He's bad. He's a bad player.
The Lions?
He's a bad player.
The Lions?
Well,
yes.
There's a guy who will make it into the Hall of Fame. His name is Aaron Rodgers. Are we thinking he's going to retire? I don't know. We'll weigh all the options next. First things first. Moving on. We'll talk about this again, guys. We are talking some Aaron Rodgers this morning. His vacation started a little earlier than expected after the Packers' shocking divisional round exit at home versus San Francisco. The focus now for Aaron Rodgers, his future. Should he stay or should he go? On the Pat McAfee show yesterday, Rodgers said everything is definitely on the table, but he has to first decide if still has a, quote, commitment to playing. There's a lot of drama surrounding Aaron Rodgers often. So that leaves 3 potential options as we see it for him. 1, he could stay in Green Bay. 2, he could ask for a trade. Or 3, he could retire and walk away as one of the all-time greats at the position. Chris Broussard, I'll start with you. What is the most likely of those 3 scenarios?
Well, Jenna, I don't think he's going to retire. All right, I think he still burns competitively. I think he desperately wants to win another Super Bowl. He even talked before that game last weekend about how he understands that his legacy, people are going to compare it to Super Bowl wins and things like that, and what type of impact another Super Bowl win could have on it. So I definitely think he's coming back to play, or I think he wants to come back and play. I think Greg Jennings a couple segments ago had a 4th option that was great, that they mutually agreed, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, for him to move on. So I do think that's on the table. But I think the best option, and I think what will happen, guys, is that he stays in Green Bay. And here's what we know: he loves Matt LaFleur. We know that obviously they got to bring back Devontae Adams. So they bring back Devontae and he stays in Green Bay. His relationship with G and Brian Gutekunst has improved dramatically. And the Packers have said from top Mark Murphy, the president, all the way down to LaFleur, that they are committed to bringing Aaron Rodgers back. So on their end, they want him back. I think with Rodgers, when you really look at the landscape, the best places for him to go are all in the AFC. I love him in Pittsburgh.
I mean, him with Mike Tomlin, they already have a nice core of receivers. You got Najee Harris. You got a good run game. We know they're going to be good defensively. Like, that's a great spot. Denver's good, too. Hello. Same type of stuff going on in Denver. However, they're in the AFC. And I'm not saying Rodgers is scared of these guys. But when you just look at it, all of the hot young quarterbacks, most of them, are in the AFC. So I got to worry about Patrick Mahomes every year, Josh Allen every year. Let Justin Herbert and the Chargers get in the playoffs. I got to worry about them. Joe Burrow is coming up. And Lamar Jackson. So all of those guys I have to go through. When I look at the NFC, Nick, Tom Brady might be done now for all we know. But even if he comes back, a lot of his weapons won't be there.
Dak and Kyler.
You've got Matthew Stafford and the Rams and Dak Prescott and the Cowboys to go through. And you can get through them.
Yep.
So I think his best shot will be to stay with the Packers. Yep. As painful as it may be to run it back after so many failures, run it back and see what you can do.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Before Aaron's got to worry about getting through, Matthew Stafford and the Rams, got to get, I guess, through Jimmy G and the Niners, and that's bedeviled him quite a bit over the last few years. And here is the problem, Wildes. I think the league's better with Aaron Rodgers. I really hope he does not retire. I also think Aaron Rodgers might be a little delusional. And that's not just because he seems to, he said on McAfee, everyone's rooting against me because of my vaccination status. Buddy, the Colts were the darlings of the league this year. Carson Wentz has same vaccination status. People, if they're rooting against you to anything to do with non-football, it's because you traffic on the same medical message boards as John Stockton and you won't stop talking about it. Like, if there's a non-football reason people are rooting for you, it's not your vaccination status. It's your unending commitment to being loud and wrong. That's why. But set that aside. Wildes, the other delusional thing is this. I think there's a third of the league that if the Packers called and said, we'll trade you our quarterback for yours, 1-for-1, they say no. The Chiefs say no. The Bills say no. The Chargers say no. The Bengals say no. The Ravens say no. That's the 5 AFC teams. I know you're going to laugh at this. I think the Jags say no. I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence at his age, his salary during a rebuild than Aaron. Oh, you think Aaron Rodgers would be happy in Jacksonville? I'm just curious. You think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a happy camper down in Jacksonville? That's not going to be a total mess.
If he wanted to go to Jacksonville. You think the Jags
want to sign up for that? No, I'm not asking. That's not the question.
Aaron Rodgers
the question is,
to go to
if they called up and said,
yeah, we'll take it.
If they called up and said, hey, we're doing the trade, that's 6. Now to the NFC. I think the Cowboys say no. I think the Rams say no. I think the Cardinals say no. I think Seattle maybe. That's 9 or 10 teams. Lop the Jags off it if you want. That's fine. We're still at a quarter of the league. No draft picks, no nothing. 1-for-1. Our quarterback for yours. Colin made this point on Monday, and he's right. This weekend was about a lot of things in the NFL, but one of the things it was about is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers both got knocked out this weekend. Anyone worried about the league? Anyone's like, oh my God, no one's going to watch. Oh my God, like what are we going to do? Nope. You watch Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have a duel Sunday night and like, oh, the league's fine. If Brady and Rodgers walked away, the league's fine. And I don't know if Aaron gets that. I hope he doesn't walk away. League's better with him. He's a great player. But I think that his trade value is not what it was a year ago. I firmly believe that.
Wow. Okay. I vehemently disagree. And we just saw this with Tom Brady, and I hope that teams learn their lesson. Tom Brady wanted to go to the San Francisco 49ers. They put on the film of Tom in New England and said, nah, we'll stick with Jimmy G. Then what happened? Tom Brady went on to the shop with another Super Bowl ring and made fun of the 49ers for sticking with that guy, who was Jimmy G, very handsome, win some games. But Tom Brady was a little upset. I think the Buccaneers came knocking because a lot of the other teams said, too old, and don't know if I want to. I'm happy where I'm at. I think every team, besides maybe the Chiefs and maybe the Bills, should jump at Aaron Rodgers. Because here's the other thing, Broussard.
Oh, stop.
Maybe.
The Bengals
here's the other thing.
No way.
Why wouldn't the Bengals?
The Chargers?
The Chargers haven't made
because
the
the
playoffs.
world's not ending.
Stop.
Because the world's not
the fundamental
ending next
disagreement between, but it's a win now league. You got to try to win now. That's what the Bucs did. I think if we've learned anything, go all in and try to win, and it will yield dividends. The idea that you're going to Danny Ainge the NFL and always be looking, maybe in a few years, maybe in a few years,
that's not it, though.
It was a
if you
strategy.
have a chance to get Aaron Rodgers, do it.
A strategy.
Hold on.
One way.
But here's the thing, and here's the difference, Brew.
He's gonna win, though.
There you go. Brady's different. Brady, he had a bad year against versus the Titans, or the year that ended against the Titans, the playoffs in the wild card round. But prior to that, he just won the Super Bowl. He'd been to 3 in a row. Rodgers ain't been to a Super Bowl since Obama's first term? Like, what are we talking about? So I don't the win right now. I think who was in win right now mode, Broussard?
Right.
The Green Bay Packers, and it would have taken 14 points to win right now. And they couldn't manage it. So obviously Pittsburgh, Brew, I think you and Wild's right about that. Because they don't have a quarterback. It's not that he has no value,
Denver.
but I don't think it's what it once was.
Yeah, Wilds, I got to go with Nick on this one because I'm not giving up Joe Burrow for Rodgers. Well, look, the defense in Green Bay was great. All right, the coach is very good. All right, the running back, they had one of the best running games in the league. They got the top receiver in the league, and they still couldn't get it done. There's no guarantee if I bring in Aaron Rodgers, like if I bring in Tom Brady, and I got weapons, that I'm going to win the Super Bowl. And so I wouldn't, but here's the one team I disagree with you on, Nick, Dallas. I definitely think Dallas would trade Dak Prescott for Aaron Rodgers.
10 years younger.
Without question. Because I get it, but Jerry Jones wants to win today. He's been waiting a quarter of a century to win that next Super Bowl. I think he would definitely do it. The question is, with Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, that's a tough mix. Well, I don't know about that.
We got to go undisputed right now. See you tomorrow.